Hey everybody, how's it growing? Welcome back to Sapote Saporium. I've got a few fruits here today that we've got from our garden that might be really interesting to people that are gardening in maybe an area that's not quite as tropical as where some of these fruits originate from. In other words, we've got some beautiful tropical fruits that we've grown ourselves in Sydney. All right, so the first disclaimer is this fruit here in front of us here is called the jackfruit. Now we've got jackfruit trees growing, but this one's from the market itself. Our trees are growing really well, and we're hoping that in a year or two we'll be able to see some of our own jackfruits. So this is what the jackfruit looks like on the outside. And then if we turn it around, we've cut this one in half, and we have beautiful, fragrant fruit that sits inside. And we can pull them out like this, and they have a seed inside them, and they're beautiful. So this fruit was the inspiration for Juicy Fruit's chewing gum. So if you see this in the market, it's not the cheapest to buy, but it's well worth it. It's beautiful. It's very, very fragrant, and as it gets more and more ripe, it fills the house with this wonderful aroma, and it just smells like a tropical fruit market when you open the door, walk into the room and smell it in the fruit bowl. So the jackfruit is something we're growing, and we're quite confident we're going to be able to get some jackfruits based on the way that the tree is growing. So that's a really exciting one. So the next fruit is this one here. Hopefully the camera picks that up, the old autofocus. So what this is, these are cherry guavas. So they're not cherries, they're guavas. And we've got a whole heap of them ripening on the bush. It's very early spring, so they're just starting to ripen, and we've got a few different varieties, and we've made a hedge out of them. So you can see here we have a red one and a yellow one. So the red one is quite nice. It's got a tart flavour, not super sweet, but these guavas, if you leave them on the tree, the sweeter they get. But that gives you a beautiful tropical flavour. And then this one is the yellow variety. Much sweeter. So these are absolutely beautiful. I reckon we'll have well over 1,000 fruits this year on about 7 or 8 different bushes. So this is the papaya. This one is a southern red variety, and it's fruited in its second year. The tree gets ratty and loses most of its leaves towards the end of winter, but the fruit remains on it. So this needs to overwinter, like so many of our tropical fruits here in Sydney. So this is a wonderful fruit that you can grow here in Sydney, so the papaya. Make sure you get it from a reputable source. Don't grow it from seed. It might not be true to type, and you want a plant that can reproduce or can self-pollinate itself, and not all of them do. So that's the papaya, a fantastic bulk crop that you can get. You can harvest quite a lot of weight in terms of fruit, and fresh, and absolutely none of that sort of funky smell you can sometimes associate with papaya. Very fresh, very clean. So the red papaya. All right, so this is my number one fruit that I grow in Sydney for a few reasons. Number one, it's delicious. It's a little bit misunderstood. We'll talk about that in a second. But number two, it grows really well. It really grows strongly in our climate. It's not affected by the cold temperatures we sometimes get over winter. And it's very abundant, and it produces fruit quickly. And the tree looks beautiful. It's a beautiful glossy green tropical tree. So that's another reason to grow it. So what is the fruit all about? Well, on the tree, the fruit has this calyx at the top, and when that lifts away from the fruit itself, when it's time to ripen, that shows you that it's mature. So you take it off the tree when you see that happening, and it's quite hard. But after a few days, it'll ripen up, and all of a sudden, boom, overnight, it gets soft and squidgy. See that? I can squidge it. So this is why it's called the chocolate pudding fruit. And if we cut into it, we can see that it resembles a chocolate mousse. Chocolate pudding fruit. Black Sapote. So it's a beautiful fruit. It's has a mild, lovely sweet flavour. Different varieties vary in their sweetness and their flavour. And a lot of people say, oh, well, it's a mistake to call it chocolate pudding fruit. It doesn't taste like chocolate. Well, I don't think cacao tastes like chocolate before you mix it with sugar. So I think that in this case, what we do is we mix this with coconut milk or desiccated coconut, and it brings the flavour out of this, and it actually turns it into a mousse. So it really does have a very chocolatey, very dessert-like quality to it, not only in texture but in flavour. So it's usually mixed with banana or coconut. Other people mix it with citrus flavours. I haven't tried that, but you can also make it into brownies. You can make it into cakes. I even heard somebody make it into a jam. So it's a really wonderful fruit that we can grow in Sydney, associated with the tropics, but strangely enough, something that grows really well for us. So that's my number one fruit that I've grown here and had the most success with so far in Sydney.